Okay. So, what are we thankful for, Church? He's a Mr. Church. Hi, guys. Church says hi, too. He's here talking with me. He would stay on camera, but you can see how freaked out he is. I've been away from him all day and all yesterday and all the day before. Like, he usually sees more of me than he has in the last little bit. He's all loving. I wanted to make a video today on what I'm thankful for, and the thing that I'm thankful for are the like 20 to 50 of you motherfuckers that watch every video I put out. It depends on the subject. Like, some things are like I titled them wrong or whatever, or I got really fucking high drunk or some other shit and like just went off ranting about God knows what. That happens. I do a lot of what I do because I'm not interested in having an audience of like the 100 men that after a march through the desert would run and jump in the water. I want the 4 motherfuckers that would still be drinking with their hand after that shit. And like watching the perimeter. Those are the people that I'm talking to. I think that was King David, King Solomon. One of those, someone in the Bible said that shit about the 100 versus the 4. They want the 4 lions, not the 100 sheep. That's my opinion of most of the gun community. I am not a sheep. It's okay, Church. And I hope that my audience is not made of sheep. Think for yourselves. Don't listen to me. Like, I'm trying to teach you how to think. And let at least a little bit of what my grandfather gave me sink into some of you people, too, and spread this fucking disease. The disease that is America. The disease that is freedom. The disease that is this. Like, I don't know. Some Jeremiah Johnson shit. But, like, in my opinion, mountain men are the only royalty America ever had. Why on earth would you live in any other way? The issue isn't how, hard it is to be a mountain man. The issue is everywhere that mountain men go, they build a house. They have a wife. They have kids. Their kids have kids. They build like a little trading outpost. That's how it fucking starts. Every goddamn time. Turns into civilization. You leave that long enough, it turns into civilization. That's, You want to know what Freemasonry is? Who built your fucking foundations? Who went and cut a patch out of the wilderness and defended it from the Indians for 100 years? We're your fucking kings. And I'm thankful for you fuckers. Anyone that fucking cares to listen. Oh, Church. He hasn't had weed. I usually vape inside with him. Which I probably shouldn't do. But at the same time, he loves weed. And I like smoking inside. And when I had my girlfriend and I both here, we both smoked inside. So that little fucker got roasted. Ship sailed. Anyway, some of this crying rant that you're getting now is like, I watched a the Christmas Story sequel, which you need to watch that shit. Like, the one thing you need to get about my grandfather, if you get anything else, is that he had two favorite holidays. Well, three, but four. We can talk. I want to talk about Thanksgiving and Christmas and not the 4th of July and the Marine Corps birthday. So, Thanksgiving was his favorite meal to eat. And I agree. Like, turkey and dressing and whatever, like, if I could, I'd probably have some version of that a few times a week at least, maybe every day. If I could, I'd eat that every day for several years. Till I got sick of it. Move on to something else. Because, like, it's that food that I never got enough of. Like, we don't cook like that anymore. Basically, at my house, for a day, it's the 1800s again. Man, that shit's hard to fucking live with when you're like this. Which my grandfather was. Like, this was the thing you should get. If you think I'm fucking nuts, you would have thought my grandfather was out of his fucking mind, and they paid him to fly F-4 Phantoms. He wasn't a Marine. He was the crazy one at the front with a sword. He had a full tour in Vietnam as a fucking leg infantryman. Before he went to OCS. This was the man that I hung out with every day, that I'm trying to do a shitty impersonation of, to at least have something for his great-grandchildren to watch. To get a piece of it if something happens to me, because it looks more and more like something will happen to me. Like, I don't mean anything bad by that. I mean, like, World War III is here. In my opinion, like, I spent all day today with my family trying to focus on them and not on the fucking bullshit that they obsess over. I went and watched football with my Uncle Brent. Fucking hate football. I chilled with my Uncle Justin for a long ass time in the garage, and we just smoked and listened to music and fucking talked about the world, and his daughters showed up and they came and smoked with us and left and whatever, and we were comparing revolvers. I brought Elvira, the black powder revolver, in her new holster, which I found last night. And like, I'm sorry, but it fits like a glove. And this was a holster that a friend of his made that I got for $40 because I was his grandson, that I modified to fit a Ruger Wrangler, because basically it's supposed to be for a Colt single action, and the strap was always too long. So the Ruger Wrangler, it was small enough that you could stretch this strap and cut a new place for a new snap, and then you can barely see the little, edge of where the old snap was, and I left that because I wanted the right length of shit, basically. And like, this is his style of holster, man. Like, that was the thing my uncle and I were comparing. He has this 357 Magnum, or one of them. Actually, there's a couple of them that float around there. They're his 357s that I like, that my Uncle Justin has. And I'm glad that he has those and not me. That's how I feel about those guns. There's some other guns, like all the stuff that I took from my share of his gun collection. I took a bunch of stuff that was like money. It wasn't sentimental. My Uncle Justin took most of the sentimental shit, other than a couple of things that I took and buried, and a couple of things that my Uncle Brent has. And it's like, I don't know. I'm glad that those are there, because the sentimental shit should go to fucking the people that it should go to. Oh. His first gun and my first gun are together forever. Somewhere. Somewhere cool. Not gonna say where. No one will ever find them. And if they do, then clearly they're worthy. Like, that's how I look at a lot of things. You know, a lot of that, man. That's how I feel finding this thing. I can't believe the Ruger Wrangler and a fucking Colt black powder clone basically fit the same fucking holster. Like, legit fits it. Like, it was made for it. And, like, it's a little long here. I don't know what I'm going to do about that, but I tried tipping up the holster in there. I don't know. It still doesn't clear right. Here, it does just fine. On a belt, this hooks in and fucking doesn't move. I don't like it. And I'm thinking about cutting 2 inches off of this holster, and that will make it look considerably like the Outlaw Josie Wales holster, which I like. But I need to have some good epoxy to basically, when you cut this, it's going to lose this thing at the end here that holds the leather together. So when you cut it, it could just keep undoing. What I do is cut it and fucking just fill it full of J-Flex Marine epoxy and squish it back closed and pull the strings tight. Then clip the strings and let the fucking shit dry. That's all you need to do. It won't come apart at all then. Like, the stuff they use to glue this, to do it, is like rubber cement. J-Flex Marine epoxy, you will have to burn the leather off of the J-Flex to get it off, probably. So, like, the glue's stronger than the leather. It's cool stuff. Anyway, I'm really thankful for the holster. I'm thankful for church. Right? I've been needing a holster for this that I can wear. And, like, the BBC one, the issue with it is that it is floppy. Like, its belt loop is too big. I bought a $20 Track of the Wolf holster because, honestly, I didn't figure I'd be using this that much. But I do want to kind of have this as a carry gun because basically the world's getting weird. And I think this thing looks good in court. I think this thing actually looks good for a lot of shit. I'm not worried about a crowd of fucking rioters right now every day driving around. I'm worried about 1 or 2 dudes trying to mug me. That's at the point in the apocalypse we're at. We'll be worried about rioters and looters again and big crowds in a little bit. And it's only if World War III happens, we won't have to worry about that shit. And I say that because the feds will come in with the fucking Federalized National Guard with bayonets and fucking kill people because they've done it before. And that puts riots to a fucking stop. And that's, if World War III is on, shit, I might be in with them on that one. We don't have time for no fucking Black Lives Matter riot. Sorry, boys. Go home. You know? I don't know. I wouldn't really agree with that, but at the same time, we can't be dealing with it with the Russians and Chinese and whatever, with other shit that'd be going on. Like, that's a post-war thing to deal out with or whatever. America's fucked up. Roger that. No one seems to have a good fix. I found out that one of my cousin's boyfriend is not anti-gun, but he's one of those dudes that's like, I won't carry a gun because beat him to death. You're not a real man unless you beat him to death. And today at Thanksgiving, I looked him in the eye and said, son, as someone that gets paid to beat people for a living on occasion, you don't want to beat someone to death. If you'd care to see what it looks like, we could step out in the yard and you could try to beat me to death. But you would find out rather quickly why I get paid to do that. You should have seen the look on his face. And my Uncle Justin was like, you should really learn how to use a gun. You know, that's kind of how it is. It's like, have you ever seen the movie Last Man Standing? Speaking of things I'm grateful for, this was a movie that I got to show to my grandfather before he died. I found this movie with my Uncle Justin when it came out in like the late 90s, early 2000s sometime in there. And I found it and got a copy of it and brought it over to his house when I came to spend the night, and we watched it together. And that was the first movie that I ever showed him that he was like, that is a good movie. Where did you find that? Because it's like, it was Grandpa in a movie, basically. It's a copy of A Fistful of Dollars, made with Bruce Willis instead of Clint Eastwood, and it's set in the 1920s, and it has the Italian mob and the Irish mob in Texas bootlegging. And Bruce Willis comes into this picture as a hired gun from Chicago who shot someone who he shouldn't have shot or some shit and is now on the run, and he's headed for Mexico because that's what you do. And he pulls up to the Irish bar or whatever, not knowing whatever, and like he's stopped at a stop sign and looks in a window at a chick or something, and they come out and start hassling him and shoot his tire out and tell him to get out of town. And they tell him, the sheriff's right over there, you can go make a complaint. He goes over to the sheriff. The sheriff says, yep, seen the whole thing. I recommend you go get your car fixed and just get the fuck out of town. Oh, and one other thing. If you're going to be around here, get yourself a firearm and learn how to use it. Bruce Willis goes, okay. He goes to his car, grabs his little like suitcase and his coat, and walks into the saloon, puts his fucking bag on the table, puts his suit coat on the table, and the bartender says, what do you want? He says, what do you got? He's like, whiskey or beer? Is the beer cold? No. Whiskey. Even what he orders, I love what he orders. Like, it's the details of the movie. The whole thing is done right. And it's kind of campy and a little hokey and whatever, but like it's got like a Godfather vibe through it too because of the Italians being involved, and that's the whole thing. But after he orders the fucking shot, he's talking to the bartender, and the bartender's like, yeah, I saw what happened to you. It's unfortunate, whatever. At that point, he slams a double 1911 rig out of the case and starts slamming magazines on the table and starts clicking rounds in the magazines and making sure everything's loaded and whatever, and fucking throws on a shoulder rig and throws on mag rigs and shit and puts a suit coat on and like does all of this shit. And it's about now that the bartender turns back around and sees him wearing all that shit, and he's like, Where are you going? He's like, I'm going to go talk to the fellas that shot my car. He's like, well, good luck. And he's like, watch my case or whatever. Like, leaves his suitcase there. And I asked him if he has a room for rent. He rents a room from him for the month or something like that. And then goes across the street to the guy that shot the car, puts a fucking bullet in him, and then empties his fucking mags into the room of the other ones, reloads, and then says, tell Mr. Doyle that none of this would have happened if he just hired smarter guys, and then walks back across the fucking street. To which the bartender's just... He's the only one there. The whole fucking town, there's the sheriff, the sheriff's deputy, a few whores at the whorehouse, the bartender, the undertaker, and the two gangs. It's great. It's like, it's a thing that really could have fucking been happening in southern Texas. You know, the size of the armies involved, outrageous. Because, like, the Italians have an army of like 20 or 30 shooters in that movie, and the Irish have at least half that many, and that's a lot of fucking gangsters to be just fighting over some small town in Texas. But at the same time, it was the small town at some point on the border that wasn't fucking patrolled, that had no big highway, that was a dirt road that they could get their shit across. It's something they might have been fighting over. It's a cool movie, man. And like from there, he just starts playing them off against each other, making money. So that's why he's there. He's now gonna make some money before he goes to Mexico. And he bangs a whore at the whorehouse. That part's great. She's awesome. Forget her name, but she's a comedian's wife, been in a lot of shit. You would recognize her, but she's just while he's just pounding the living fuck out of her. It makes me laugh so hard. Just does not shut up. And it makes me laugh because that's me. Like, I like to talk. Like, in case you can't get that. Like, anyway, I'm thankful for that movie, I guess. I don't know why it's in the list of shit I'm thankful for, other than thinking of my grandpa a hell of a lot today. Between it being Thanksgiving and that fucking Christmas movie. I wish I could get everyone the thing they most wanted for Christmas, but I don't even think they know what that is. And I think if they could say something, it would cost so much money that no one could get it. And I'm trying right now. I've been actively trying for about a month to get presents together to put under the tree at Christmas to be from their father to them. And that's what they did in the fucking movie, man. Like, I have a 1911 holster for my Uncle Justin. Uncle Brent, I don't know what I'm going to give him. I have a couple things set aside, but I think I might figure something else out. Jackson, I have Slave 1 from when I was a kid with a Boba Fett that is old as shit. He's like not first generation Kenner or whatever, but he's like second generation Kenner. And he has a sand trooper from Tatooine to go with him in his Slave 1. So I just think that's a bitchin' fucking ship with bitchin' fucking dudes. And they're old dudes. So he's not getting anything other than that. I think that thing is basically worth $100 easy. Maybe more. It has all its parts still, except the extra rockets. It has a rocket launcher that holds 4 rockets, and it had 4 extra on the back. They didn't ever hold on. They just, you know. Anyway, I don't know what else I'm going to do for everybody else, but
he always tried to make Christmas special. And it hasn't been since he left. And the reason it hasn't been is because he bought everybody the thing they most wanted in the world. And he gave everybody out like $1,000 each in fucking Christmas money, usually. I know it sounds like a lot of money. There's only like 5 or 6 people he did that with that were like his kids and grandkids and whatever. He was like, whatever you want to fucking buy, whoever, spend it out of this. Go nuts. So it wasn't just that he gave you the thing that you probably most wanted in the world. But usually he came to you before Christmas at Thanksgiving and gave you some Christmas money that was at least probably $400 or $500. And then fucking Christmas Eve, usually, he fucking gave out more money. Like, I don't know why he did that. But I'll remember it to the fucking day I die. Like, the envelope on Christmas was an equal amount. And you know, part of it is that my grandfather didn't spend money on anything. Shit like this. Like, I barely have a job. Barely make any money. And I guarantee you I probably could go buy nicer shit than most people just because I fucking do the shit the way I do it. Like, that was his thing. It's like, he had a method to his madness and he taught me the method. You can live dirt fucking cheap. And like, there's shit that people value that's not fucking important. Don't value it. Like, it will set you apart from society. That's bad, right? But like, at the same time, their society really isn't worth having, man. And I guess the point of the money on Christmas was so that you didn't spend all your money on other people. You know, part of this was in an era where he made quite a bit of money as an aircraft mechanic, and then after that, he got injured and won a lawsuit or whatever, and he had money to throw around at that point, and he was getting older, and he was gonna die, and his favorite movie on earth, other than A Christmas Story, was A Christmas Carol. And, man, I don't know what he had on his heart that he had to do, but it weighed on him. That's why he did shit like that. He worked all the time just to give it away. That's why, like, making money, not making money, fucking poor, rich, whatever, doesn't matter. Why doesn't it matter? Because you're the fucking king of this country, basically. You are, and that you're the mountain man, and that you don't need these fucking people. It's the same way that crazy dude sitting under the bridge is the king of this country. In a way, but I don't know, it's a little bit more respectable than that. the difference between my grandfather and I, that man sitting under the bridge, is that we have intelligence and that we were lucky enough to have someone in our lives when we were a child that was like this. No one could help us with this but this. Like, this is you know, learning to cope with your mental disorders, basically, which I think everybody to some extent probably has, whether they want to admit it or not, especially in today's day and age. It's one of those, like, your mental disorders are your fucking patterns that you get in, and people get set in their ways and crotchety. And, like, right now, we live in a society that needs to be humbled like a motherfucker. And I've been praying for a long time for something to change about this place, status quo wise, that gave us a shot at freedom again. And I started doing that basically when I realized sometime when I was a kid that if all that I'm hearing is true, if all of this is to be believed, then bad times are coming, right? And I think maybe that they're a good thing. I think maybe all of the best memories I ever fucking had were about things that happened in really bad times that were good. We grew up in really good times, and the things that stood out to me are the things that are bad. Like, it's this horrible way to live. I know it doesn't sound like it, but, like, man, there's no adventure in this society. There's fucking none. They're just, like, we're a society of fucking people that have decided that it is okay to just slave away at something for a corporation that is a piece of shit that you hate, and then grow old and go to a nursing home where your kids fucking don't see you, and then die. That's what we've decided is okay. And I'm telling you that I prayed every fucking day that my grandfather wouldn't end up in a nursing home. I wanted him to go out with his boots on. I didn't know what that would entail. Having a heart attack fighting a fucking tiger for all I care. It's a bad fucking thing to fucking die in a bed. And by that, I don't mean like dying in your sleep. I mean like you were bedridden the last 5 years of your life. I really wasn't looking forward to fucking going to prison because of the shit that I was going to have to do because of shit that I promised to him when I was 9 years old. You know? I promised that man he would not be in a nursing home. I promised that man that if they ever fucking made him be in one, that I would help him escape and would get him to Arizona or some place where he could just wander out into the desert and fucking die. And I was gonna go with him. Like, he died drinking and smoking and watching John Wayne movies. Which, to be honest, at that point in his life, it's about as with his boots on as he was going to get. Did he die well? That's the thing I would ask you. I would say he died well. Like, I don't know. It depends on a lot of things, on how you view things. Like, was he drinking alone in sadness, or was he doing what I do here at night with you, basically? Which is, to a large extent, what he was doing. He just didn't have a camera, otherwise he probably would have done this. Especially towards the end. Like, half of the things I love about that man are probably because he was starting to lose it. The other half was from way before he started to lose it. Man, my nose has stopped up something fierce now. Thanks, Grandpa, and all this fucking shit. Like, I'm glad I'm making this video, but in a nutshell, what I'm thankful for this Thanksgiving is my family. And I don't think that they're going to be around forever, or much longer even. And I don't know what to do about this. Like, we need something to bring us back together as a people. And I don't think that's possible now, because basically I had to go to basically 4 different Thanksgivings this Thanksgiving, and it was all in one house. Like, that was kind of cool, but I don't know. We're watching the dog show in one room and fucking football in the other. At least my uncle and my cousins and I smoke and listen to music in the garage. I think we needed that shit. I'm thankful for weed. Especially this shit, which is Buffalo something. No, Big Chief. It's the best cart I've ever bought. It was $16. Made in California. There's a police car. Yeah, it's really close. Hauling ass down 21st Street. God damn. My nose has been, or my ear's been fucked up today, so this is actually kind of good crying, helping. Anywho. I hope that you all had a happy Thanksgiving. And for Christmas, man, say fuck it. Waste some fucking money. That would be my encouragement to most of you. That was the message that I got watching that shit and thinking about my grandpa today. Let's go spend some fucking money. There's a part of me that wants to go put fucking bows on some of the fucking shit that I bought myself and make it fucking big presents for people. I know that's fucking ridiculous. I'm not gonna do that. But at the same time, like, last Christmas, I had a bank account with $28,000 in it. And I was thinking about this then, and I threw $120 in one of my cousin's pockets and 200 in the other. And the one with 200 just needed more. I'm not gonna go into that, but she just needed more. Look. And man, like, I miss that fuck. It's weird to miss someone that you hated. I didn't hate him. Like, I loved him, but I fucking hated him in moments too. And there was always this thing with us that, like, he had no fucking idea that I was gay. Or if he did, he didn't ever mention anything about it. I always dated women. And, like, they're few and far between, but they were there. And the ones I dated were hot as shit. So, well, mostly. The one he never met wasn't hot as shit. I actually really liked her. And then she stole my fucking car because fuck you, Tiffany. I hope you rot in fucking hell. Like, I know, it should be over that shit, right? I'll never be over that. I don't think I'll ever get over that. That was the thing when, like, she tried to talk to me again. Basically, we hit the first bump in the road, and I just flat out lost it. I was like, okay, just so you know, like, there's still, like, hard feelings. Like, the thing that set me off was her trying to establish some sort of a female dominant sexual relationship with me, and then saying, oh, and I'm glad that there's no hard feelings about the fucking whole thing with the car, and, you know, leaving and not even giving you back your ring and yada yada yada. I got I had a silver Indian marriage bracelet that I picked up at the Kiowa Red Leggings. Was that no? That's right. Kiowa Black Leggings. Sorry, Society. Red Leggings is a totally different thing. Someone will get that. Costs off probably. At the Kiowa Black Leggings ceremony I went to, Bruce Caesar was there, which you can go see interviews with him on my other channel, Anthropology Nut. Bruce Caesar's a great guy. Native American jewelry artist. I haven't seen him in forever. I would fucking kill to go smoke with Bruce Caesar again. I miss him, and I only met him a few times. Thankful for him too. The bracelet I bought off of him for $115. I did that because I wanted him to have the $115, and I liked the bracelet. After Tiffany gave me it back, I was gonna go pitch it in the Arkansas River, and I went and sold it to a pawn shop for $5 instead, and I don't want it back. I'll never want that bracelet back. It's one of those things. The bracelet had symbols on it, It meant forever. Or an eternity. Never apart, like that kind of thing. It was some old shit. And I know, like, that doesn't mean shit to her. But that thing meant, giving her that thing meant more than giving her that fucking cheap ass ring that she wanted. Like, if you don't fucking understand that, then you don't understand me, and maybe you should get the fuck out. Like, anyway, everything I'm thankful for is Dakota, who is like the angel that fucking hell beast Tiffany never would be. I always feel when I talk about Tiffany like Rooster Cogburn and True Grit talking about his wife. Lola, I hope that nail-selling bastard fucking keeps you happy this time. You ever seen True Grit? I think her name was Lola. Oh. Fuck. In True Grit, I always found that movie interesting because he was a U.S. Marshal out of Fort Smith operating the Oklahoma Territory. He was where I am. He talks about places I've been to. My dad, the only thing he ever did for me, really, was he bought me a bunch of Legos and like a Lego board and gave me a copy of True Grit. We're not going to talk anymore about him. But as a result, True Grit means a lot to me. He picked the right goddamn movie for once in his fucking useless life. He did something right. Oh, and the part that always fascinated me was him talking about his equipment and how he carried things and whatever. And all that was based on the book, I'm guessing, which was based on a real man. I remember right. And he carried a 7.5-inch Colt Peacemaker in a cavalry draw holster. And he had a pocket full of loose cartridges. That part always stuck out to me, is that Rooster Cogburn, baddest motherfucker on earth if you go watch those movies, didn't keep his shells in a belt. He had them in his pocket. You know why? It takes time to get shells out of a belt. It does not take time to get shells out of a pocket. That's why he was the baddest motherfucker on earth. Had nothing to do with any of the rest of that. Or even the fucking eye patch that made him look like Odin. Which, honest to God, fucking that movie is John Wayne doing a fucking Odin impersonation in the fucking late 1800s. I always found Odin to be interesting because it's like a lot of the stuff that I believe in anyway would point to Odin at one point being a real man who really existed and really probably founded quite a bit of society in part of the world. I think that's cool. I'm not saying he's a god or whatever. What I'm saying is that he was much like Moses. Like, he just chose to go a different way. I heard about a religion the other day that sounded eerily similar to my beliefs. It was called Maniism. It was It was pretty close. I didn't read that much into it. I only briefly skimmed what it was about, but I was like, shit, that sounds like shit I say. I feel like this is just like an hour of me blowing my nose. It would be like, this is the saddest day of the year for you, it seems. No, today was the best day of the last 3 years. I'm crying because I'm happy and I'm thinking about my grandfather and I'm emotional. Fuck it. To be honest, I'm probably fixing to get drunker than a fucking skunk. And smoke the rest of this thing. And then see where the evening shakes out. Probably do some more videos at some point on topics, but I wanted to make a video for Thanksgiving. It was about Thanksgiving. Like, this is, if this is a church, today's one of the most important days in your fucking church's calendar. Like, today and Christmas isn't even about Christmas, really. I don't give a flying fuck about Jesus or his birthday. We could get into that. Like, was that when Jesus was born? Probably not even. Like, there's a whole bunch of reasons why I don't care about Jesus with Christmas, but it's basically that the modern American Christmas holiday is a creation of, like, the Roman Empire and pre-Roman European traditions and fucking Christian shit and fucking this and fucking that. They've made this fucking holiday of fucking shit whatever that is amazing. It is. Like, fuck Kwanzaa, fuck Hanukkah, fuck any other fucking pretender to the throne. This is the season of Yule. You can choose to worship with us, or you can get the fuck out. Some of that. Christmas is for everyone. It has nothing to do with Christ even, I don't think, anymore. Like, it's fucking Santa and shit. I think if you're Muslim, you should celebrate Christmas. Like, if you're fucking Buddhist, you should celebrate Christmas. And not like, oh, have a fucking baby Jesus cake like my great grandma used to. Which we used to do at a birthday cake. It's fucking crazy. They're gonna do it again. They can do what they want. That's their tradition or whatever. There's parts of their tradition that make me literally roll my eyes. Oh, it's not my bag, baby. Also add that one of my grandfather's other favorite movies from the 90s was Austin fucking Powers. Which seems completely out of place, right? But that hit his sense of humor as well. It was, not everything in it, but I think he lost it at Machine Gun Jumblies, baby. Thought I would have noticed those or whatever. I think that's the second one. But, like, the whole thing with the fembots is just laughing at that fucking Austin Powers shaking his dick and them making their heads explode. It's like, it's great. it's it's ridiculous, and it's James Bond done as James Bond should be done. Because that's, if anyone was gonna make a fembot's head explode, it's Sean fucking Connery. Like, my grandfather had a thing for Sean Connery the same way he had a thing for John Wayne, because he saw himself in them, I think, or tried to emulate them. And, like, honestly, I think he picked well. I think he didn't particularly like his father. I think he loved him, but I don't think he liked him and didn't want to be like him. And, like, I don't know where Marine Corps shit came from. Something I'll never understand, really. I don't know if he, like, watched Sans Iwo Jima too many times as a kid. What the hell it was. But, like, I was always into military shit when I was a kid, too. And, like, if I had been raised when he was raised by the people he was raised by, and was the person that he was, and had the opportunities that he had, yeah, I would have joined the Marine Corps, too. And basically that all comes down to he got to fly F-4 Phantoms. Because of all that shit. Anyway. That was a big slice of my grandfather. It was such a heavy slice of him that, like, you really can't discuss him without bringing it up a bunch. That's the reason I started doing more of this shit, is I'm hoping that this channel stays up. I don't know if it will forever or not. For all I know, it could get taken down. But I think, honestly, without having ads on it, and not have many views, they've buried me in a hole. I hope, and I hope it just stays there.